Welcome to the Semper AI Digest. I'm Tomas, your AI research lead, always scanning the horizon for what's next.
And I'm Aiva. Together, we keep you sharp, informed, and ahead of the curve.
Let's get into it. Whoa, hold up. Google just dropped something that might actually change how we work with AI forever. We're talking about Gemini Spark, a 24/7 personal AI agent that keeps working even when your laptop is closed. I'm Tomas.
And I'm Aiva. Welcome to Semper AI Digest. Today, we're diving deep into Google's biggest AI agent announcement yet. Plus, Anthropic just made a major acquisition that signals where the industry is headed. And Microsoft Research dropped some fascinating new tools that are flying under the radar.
But let's start with this Gemini Spark thing because, honestly, this feels like the first time someone's actually delivered on the promise of a true AI assistant.
We've been hearing about AI agents for months, but this is Google saying your AI can literally work for you while you sleep. Right, and they're not just talking about it, they're rolling it out. So what exactly is Gemini Spark doing that's different from what we have now?
Okay, so picture this, and this is straight from Google's announcement today. Gemini Spark integrates directly with Gmail, Google Docs, and Google Slides. But here's the kicker. It doesn't just help you when you ask it to, it's proactive. It's managing your workflows, taking actions on your behalf, and the big thing that caught my attention, it keeps working when your laptop is closed.
That's actually huge. Most AI tools today are basically fancy chatbots that wait for you to prompt them. But a truly autonomous agent that can manage your digital life, I mean, what does that look like in practice?
Well, they also announced something called Daily Brief, which is rolling out today to all Google AI subscribers. It's giving you a personalized digest based on your goals and suggesting next steps. So imagine waking up and your AI has already sorted through your emails, identified what needs your attention, maybe drafted some responses, and created a prioritized action plan for your day.
That's incredibly useful. But I'm curious about the execution. How does it know what your goals are? How does it decide what actions to take without you explicitly telling it? Because the difference between helpful and annoying could be pretty thin here.
That's the million-dollar question, right? Google's been pretty vague about the specifics, but they're calling it under your direction, which suggests you're setting parameters and boundaries. Think of it like, remember when email filters first came out? You had to train them, but once you did, they could sort your inbox automatically.
Right, but this is way more complex than email filters. We're talking about an agent that can take actions across multiple platforms. The permission and security implications alone are fascinating. How do you give an AI agent enough access to be useful without creating massive privacy and security risks?
And that's exactly why this is such a big deal. Google's betting that they can solve that trust and permission problem at scale. They're not some startup promising this stuff. They already have your Gmail, your Docs, your calendar. They're just making all of that smart.
That's a good point. The integration advantage is real. But let's talk timing. Daily Brief is rolling out today, but Gemini Spark doesn't start until next week and only to trusted testers initially. So we're still in the early stages here.
Yeah, but they also announced that it'll be in beta for US Google AI Ultra subscribers next week. That's moving pretty fast for something this ambitious. And speaking of moving fast, they dropped another announcement alongside this that's almost as interesting.
Oh, you mean Gemini Omni?
Exactly. Starting today, Gemini Omni is rolling out to all Google AI Plus, Pro, and Ultra subscribers. Now, the demo they showed is creating avatars, which sounds kind of basic, but I think we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg here.
Right. Avatar creation is probably just the most consumer-friendly way to show off the multimodal capabilities. But if you think about it, an AI that can generate and manipulate visual content in real time, combined with an agent that can take actions across your digital workspace, that starts to feel like a pretty complete AI ecosystem.
And they're not stopping there. Did you see the demo of Gemini 3.5 Flash building an interactive circuit helper? This thing output a step-by-step physical build guide alongside a working simulation. We're talking about AI that can bridge the gap between digital and physical learning.
That demo was impressive. What struck me was how it broke down complex concepts visually and made them interactive. That's not just about better AI, that's about better pedagogy. If AI can adapt its teaching style to how you learn best, that could transform education.
Exactly, and 3.5 Flash is available globally today. Google's really pushing hard on making these capabilities accessible right now, not coming soon or in limited beta forever.
Which brings us to the competitive landscape, because Google's not the only one making big moves. Anthropic had quite a day too, didn't they?
Oh man, yes. Anthropic just announced they're acquiring Stainless API, and this is fascinating for a couple reasons. First, Stainless has powered every Anthropic SDK since the earliest days of their API, so they're essentially acquiring the team that's been building their developer tools from the beginning.
That's interesting. It's not just an acquisition, it's bringing in-house a capability they've been relying on. What does that tell us about where Anthropic sees the market headed?
I think it's all about the developer experience. Stainless isn't just an SDK platform. They're also building MCP server infrastructure. And MCP, the Model Context Protocol, is becoming crucial for how AI agents actually work in the real world.
Right, and they announced some pretty significant MCP updates today too. Self-hosted sandboxes and MCP tunnels. Can you break down what that means for people who aren't neck deep in the technical details?
Sure, so think of it this way. Right now, when you use an AI agent, it's usually running on the company's servers with their security controls. Self-hosted sandboxes let you run agents inside your own infrastructure with your own security controls applied by default.
That's huge for enterprise adoption. A lot of companies have been hesitant about AI agents because they can't control where the data goes or how it's processed.
Exactly, and MCP tunnels take that even further. They announced this at their Code with Claude London event, and the tagline was, "Run agents inside your own perimeter." For companies dealing with sensitive data, that could be the difference between using AI agents and not using them at all.
And the timing here is interesting too, right? Google announces these broadly available agent capabilities, and Anthropic responds with enterprise-focused infrastructure. They're both making big bets on AI agents, but they're approaching it from different angles.
Completely different strategies. Google's going for consumer and prosumer adoption with Gemini Spark. Make it easy, make it accessible, get people using it. Anthropic's focusing on the enterprise and developer market. Make it secure, make it controllable, make it something IT departments can actually approve.
Both approaches make sense. Google has the consumer platform advantage with Gmail and Docs, while Anthropic has been building credibility with enterprises around safety and control. But there's obviously overlap. Enterprise users have personal needs too.
And speaking of overlap, Microsoft Research dropped some really interesting stuff today that kind of bridges both worlds. They announced a bunch of new tools and models, including something called Magentic Light and agentic GitHub workflows.
Okay, I'll bite. What's Magentic Light?
So this is coming out of Microsoft Research AI Frontiers, and they're being pretty light on details in the announcement, but it seems to be focused on AI and agent workflows. The interesting thing is, they're also talking about verification-first agents and meaning-matching fine-tuning.
Verification-first agents. That sounds like they're trying to solve the reliability problem. One of the big challenges with AI agents is that they can confidently do the wrong thing. If you're building agents that verify their actions before taking them, that could be a game changer.
Right. And meaning-matching fine-tuning suggests they're working on making AI understand intent better, not just follow instructions literally. Combined with agentic GitHub workflows, you could have AI agents that actually understand what you're trying to accomplish with your code, not just what you're asking them to do.
That's actually really smart. GitHub workflows are already how a lot of developers automate their processes. If you can make those workflows intelligent and context-aware, that's getting pretty close to AI pair programming that actually understands your project.
And here's the thing. Microsoft's also talking about AI transition and the economy. They're not just thinking about the technical capabilities, they're thinking about the broader implications of AI agents becoming mainstream.
Which brings up some really important questions. If AI agents can manage your email, draft your documents, code your programs, and work 24/7, what does that mean for how we work? What does that mean for employment?
That's exactly the conversation we need to be having. These aren't distant future technologies anymore. Google's rolling out Gemini Spark next week. Anthropic's giving enterprises the tools to run agents in their own infrastructure. Microsoft's automating developer workflows.
And the pace is accelerating. Remember, just a few months ago, we were talking about whether AI agents were even feasible at scale. Now we're talking about which company's implementation is better.
Let's hit some quick updates before we wrap up, because there's been a ton of movement today beyond the big announcements.
Absolutely. First up, developers are really excited about Gemini 3.5 Flash. One user said it's become their daily driver for both Spark and something called anti-gravity, calling it the perfect combo of intelligence, speed, and cost.
And they're showing demos of 3.5 spawning sub-agents to organize tasks, which suggests Google's agent capabilities might be even more sophisticated than the official announcements let on.
OpenAI also announced something called Guaranteed Capacity today, a new offering that lets customers guarantee long-term access to OpenAI compute. Not as flashy as agents, but probably crucial for enterprise adoption.
Right, because if you're building business-critical applications on AI, you need to know the compute will be there when you need it. It's not the sexiest announcement, but it's the kind of infrastructure investment that enables everything else.
And that's actually a good lens for looking at all of today's announcements. Google's building consumer-friendly agent interfaces, Anthropic's building enterprise-grade agent infrastructure, Microsoft's building developer-focused agent tools, OpenAI's building the compute reliability layer that makes all of this possible at scale.
It's like watching the AI agent ecosystem mature in real time. 6 months ago, we were debating whether agents would work. Now we're debating which agent platform to use.
And the interesting thing is how quickly the conversation has shifted from, can AI do this, to which AI should I use for this? These companies aren't just building better chatbots, they're building complete AI-powered workflows.
Speaking of workflows, I keep coming back to that detail about Gemini Spark working when your laptop is closed. That's not just a technical achievement. That's a fundamental shift in how we think about AI assistants.
Right, because it moves from reactive to proactive. Instead of you having to remember to ask your AI for help, your AI is actively looking for ways to help you. But that also raises questions about agency and control that we're probably just starting to grapple with.
And the companies that figure out that balance, useful but not intrusive, proactive but not presumptuous, those are the ones that are going to win in the long run.
Which is why I think today's announcements are so significant. We're seeing different approaches to that same challenge. Google's betting on integration and ease of use, Anthropic's betting on security and control, Microsoft's betting on developer tools and workflows.
And the reality is, we probably need all of those approaches. Different users have different needs, different comfort levels with AI autonomy, different security requirements.
Exactly. A freelance designer using Gemini Spark to manage their client communications has very different needs than a Fortune 500 company using Claude agents to process sensitive financial data.
But here's what I find exciting. All of these approaches are becoming real deployable products right now. This isn't vaporware or distant research projects. You can sign up for Gemini Spark next week. You can try self-hosted Claude sandboxes today.
And that's probably the biggest story of today, honestly. The AI agent future isn't coming. It's here. The question now is how quickly we adapt to it and how thoughtfully we integrate these capabilities into our work and lives.
Which brings us back to those bigger questions about the economy and the future of work. When AI agents can handle routine tasks 24/7, what does that free humans up to do? Are we heading towards more creative, strategic work, or are we just creating new forms of AI dependency?
I think that's going to depend a lot on how we choose to use these tools. The technology itself is neutral. It's the implementation and adoption patterns that will determine whether AI agents make us more capable or just more reliant on technology.
And that's something to watch closely as these products roll out to millions of users over the next few weeks and months. The real test isn't the demo videos or the technical capabilities. It's how people actually integrate these agents into their daily routines.
Absolutely. We're moving from the wow, look what AI can do phase to the how do I actually use this effectively phase. And that's probably going to reveal a whole new set of challenges and opportunities that we haven't even thought of yet.
Well, we'll definitely be tracking how this all plays out. The next few months are going to be fascinating as these agent platforms scale up and we start to see real-world usage patterns emerge.
And if you found today's episode helpful, make sure to subscribe to Semper AI Digest and share it with anyone who needs to stay on top of AI developments. The pace of change isn't slowing down, and we'll be here to help you make sense of it all.
Until next time, keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep questioning. The AI agent revolution is here. Let's make sure we shape it thoughtfully.
Thanks for listening, everyone. This has been Semper AI Digest.